sat in his shed. I think that's because it's the most manly room we have, and Dad explained that from now on, I might notice some changes in my big brother. "Zach's embarking on a great journey," said Dad. "Brilliant! When's he leaving? Can I have his room?" "Not that kind of journey," said Dad with a weary sigh. "He's going through something called puberty," he went on. "His voice will be different, for instance." "Oh, will he sound like a Dalek?" "No, not like a Dalek." "Pity." "He will become hairier." "Oh, like a werewolf?" "No, not like a werewolf." This puberty lark didn't seem up to much. There was other stuff to do with privacy and girls, but to be honest, after the letdown about the Dalek and the werewolf, I stopped taking it in. So, when Zach told me in the treehouse that something had changed, I knew exactly what to say. I pursed my lips and gave a serious nod like I'd seen the doctor do when he told me I had glandular fever. "I'm afraid that you have caught puberty." He ignored me and stared at his hands, turning them over and over. "I think I have superpowers." Chapter 2. Zorbon. Zach had gone completely bonkers. Too much homework will do terrible things to a boy's mind. But then I grew suspicious. He knew how much I liked comic books and was constantly poking fun at me for what he called my childish obsession. I smelled an ambush. "Superpowers?" I folded my arms and sneered. "What, so now you can fly and shoot lightning from your fingertips?" A curious expression spread across his face. "I wonder," he mused, sticking out one hand, flaring his fingers at me like some cheesy magician. Lightning did not shoot from his fingertips. But I was too stunned to notice since something equally remarkable was happening. My torch flew out of my grip, spun through the air, and landed in Zach's outstretched palm with a slap. His fingers closed around it, and he grinned. Impossible. But Zach had done it. He had made the torch move just by thinking about it and doing a lame hand gesture. Somehow it was true. My brother had an actual superpower. Telekinesis, to give it its official title. Lots of superheroes have this ability in comics, but this was the first time I'd seen it in real life. I hated to admit it, but it was cool. Super cool. Not that I was going to tell Zach that. "No lightning bolts then," I said, pretending to be disappointed. "What?" He looked at me like I was stupid. "Did you see that? Did you see what I did?" I couldn't keep up the pretense. I was impressed. But my awe quickly gave way to something else. I was as green as the Hulk, more jealous even than last Christmas when Zach was given an iPhone and I got shoes. "It's not fair. How come you get superpowers? You don't even read comics." I ranted for a few more minutes. When I get going, I have been known to turn purple. And then, finally exhausted, I flopped down on the floor and felt my face crumple into a sulk. Although I was seething with envy, I had to know. How did it happen? Zach stared past me, his eyes fixed on some hazy spot on the wall, and began to describe the incredible and incredibly recent events. "Just after you left, I heard this distant rumbling noise, and so I looked out of the treehouse. There were lights in the sky, and I thought it might be a meteor shower. And then I realized it was heading this way, fast. The sky was filled with hundreds of glowing white lines, but just as they were about to hit, they came to an almighty sudden stop. Then I saw that it was no meteor shower." He paused and drew a long breath before saying in a whisper, "It was a trans-dimensional spacecraft." I gasped. Up until then, the most exciting story Zach had ever told me involved a bad haircut and a chihuahua, and I'm not convinced he was telling the truth about the chihuahua. "It was a large blue oval hanging in thin air, right outside there." He extended a trembling finger and pointed. "As I watched, a door in the side of the craft slid open with a sound like bloop whoosh, and a luminous figure emerged on a beam of light. He wore a shiny purple suit, a cape with a high gold collar, and gold boots.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.